Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect King of Games. And today, we're going to be watching the video that you guys should have been watching yesterday. I apologize. The Battle City actually wasn't supposed to go up, but we've been having quite a few difficulties with the new way you guys are seeing, which is the bird's eye top-down view. But we are back with you guys with another awesome game, Mermail, inside of the February 2018 format, being piloted against, you would never think that Fire King is so good. They're going to be starting off with a card I want to highlight in Fire King Island. And this card is essentially the bread and butter of the deck. Being able to destroy a monster you control in your hand to search a Fire King monster from your deck to your hand is a pretty crucial effect because it allows you to not only gain the effects of your destroyed Fire King monsters, but it also allows you to search the Fire King monsters that you need. So it's a really good card. On his standby phase, he's going to activate the effects of Fire King Avatar Barong. And when that card is destroyed during the next following standby phase, he can add one Fire King card from his deck to his hand. I'm going to open up with Swap Frog, discarding Mermail Abyss Gun from my hand to the graveyard to send another Ronin Toadin from my deck to my graveyard, trying to set up a good, totally awesome play. And I want to say that this deck really plays well in its anti-meta-like appearance. I'm going to send a Swap Frog from my hand to the graveyard to go ahead and send another Swap Frog. The real interesting part is that I didn't activate the effect of Swap Frog, but probably in fear of Arvata. But Totally Awesome is going to be met with a solemn warning. That is pretty nasty, but Totally Awesome is going to be able to gain its effect to add Swap Frog back from my graveyard to my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and normal summon Swap Frog yet again. And now it is up to Xander if he wants to stop the Swap Frog with the effect of Arvata. And Arvata is a really good card. We're going to go ahead and highlight this card as well right now. And basically what it does is that he can destroy a fire monster from his hand or field, or I believe just hand, to negate the activation of effect monster. Now it doesn't destroy the monster, but at this current time we were under the impression that Arvata did destroy a monster. So I'm going to lose the Swap Frog, and then I'm going to pitch Dragoon to activate Teus, and thinking I'm clearly in opening Ash Blossoms and Joyous Spring my Teus. All of the answers. He legitimately had 3 outs. Now this deck is really good at playing against 2 outs, but 3 outs is it's really hard. So I'm going to gain the effect of Dragoons, and that's going to add Neptunus from my deck to my hand, preparing for the next turn and hoping that he didn't do something good. But unfortunately, he did get the Garunix. Garunix is going to summon itself, destroy the Arvata, and Arvata is going to special summon Barong to his side of the field. Now he still has the Fire King Island, so he can island his monster, but no, he's going to go ahead and Fire King Island, or I'm sorry, Circlet of Fire Kings, his Barong for his Arvata, which I don't think that was the best play, mainly because he could have entered his battle phase and then attacked with his monsters, inflicting some heavy damage and being able to circle of Fire King his monster back to his side of the field. And this deck is still really good. I'm telling you, Fire Kings are a very underrated, very good sleeper deck. And if you guys want to see a deck profile of Fire Kings, go ahead and destroy that like button. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes, and we'll do a Mermail deck profile and a Fire King deck profile subsequently. Also, be sure to comment down below in the comment section which deck profile would you guys like to see first. That will determine the outcome of what deck profile we will do, provided that this video does get 150 likes. So I'm going to summon Prince, and he's going to negate it with an Arvata again. Fortunately for me, I get to use it for cost. And I think this is about the time that we realize that Arvata doesn't destroy the monster effect. It simply just negates the monster effect. So that was pretty cool to know that. Now that I actually have 5 monsters in the graveyard, I can make 5 monsters in the graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and search the Mullen Glacier and then use the effect of Ronnie Boy to special summon the Ronin Toadin. And now I'm going to be able to actually make Mullen Glacier to my side of the field, discarding 2 cards from his hand. And then the other 2 monsters can go ahead and make some more recursion inside of Mistar Boy. So this is going to be a pretty decent. I'm going to make my opponent lose his entire hand. Xander's going to lose his hand, which isn't that good for him. But I'm still looking down on double chicken, so it's not necessarily, or chicken in the graveyard and Arvata on the field and all those other good things. So it's like, it's not that great to go against a field that Xander has right now. But at the same time, I'm making do with what I have, which against a lot of decks is really good, being able to make this type of board, even though when your board was completely wiped and stopped in the opening turn. So Mistar Boy is going to attack into the Fire King Avatar Arvata. Mullen Glacier is going to go ahead and attack into his Barong. Now, normally when Arvata is destroyed, he'd be able to special summon a monster from his graveyard, but since he's already used one of the effects, he can no longer use the other effects. So he's going to go ahead and clear my board but Star Boy's effect is going to activate to add Teus from my graveyard to my hand. Now, can I make another combo uninterrupted this time? Hopefully, crossing my fingers, he doesn't have a response to this particular combo, so he's setting up really well. Fire King Island, he's just going to attack for the 2700. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a monster or a card to destroy a Fire King Island, so he can't attack for game. And that's going to leave me with one last turn to try to recover in this game. Do I have anything? He's going to summon the Garunix. The Garunix is going to destroy the Garunix. And unfortunately, I have both Dragoons in my graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and activate Teus, discarding the infantry to destroy the Fire King Island, getting rid of his Garunix. Unfortunately, that monster will come back next turn, so if I don't have any responses or any way to inflict 6,000 of damage to him right here and right now, this game will be all for naught. And next, do I have anything else? Doesn't look like it. Definitely seeing what I can search through this Teus. And while we're here, if you guys want to see more content like this, more awesome games, then go ahead and destroy that subscribe button. Really helps us, lets us know. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we really want you guys to be a part of the community. So I'm going to go ahead and Mermail Abyss Osha, and it looks like I'm actually making a play. I could be able to do something. Osha getting rid of the Teus, choose plus summon Mander and Neri, and it's met by Torrential Tribute. Oh my god, that card is so hot in this deck. Not only because it gains Fire King monsters effects when they're destroyed through Torrential Tribute, but it also disrupts boards, and Mermail is really good, or really bad when it has its boards disrupted. I'm going to activate Neri to draw a card and discard a card, and then I'm going to 1-for-1 the last monster in my hand, which, yes, all of that would have been game had my opponent not had the Torrential Tribute. I'm going to summon Neptibus and then realize that that game was pretty much over. It's not much else I can do. Going into game 2, I'm going to start off first by sending the Osha to the graveyard with Teus, and I'm telling you guys, I had McNasty in my hand. If you didn't Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring my Teus, I would have had a really good hand. Now, agreed, I could have not went so far in because I did have the Osha. I could have baited with the Swap Frog, which probably would have been the better play. But I wanted to get really greedy and make that super board. I really took a gamble, and unfortunately, it cost me a lot of advantage this time around. So, summoning Swap Frog, 2-cent Swap Frog to the graveyard, and now I have to make a decision. Do I want to summon Swap Frog again, which I am going to be doing by getting rid of the Kaiju Gamseel to summon a Ronnie Boy. Those two monsters are going to go ahead and make a Totally Awesome, which is probably the best play for this deck. Making Totally Awesome on an opening board is really good because it allows you to establish some type of basis. Not only do you get a free negate, you also are allowed, you know, to recover a monster. So I'm going to use Swap Frog's effect to special summon, or Totally Awesome special summon Swap Frog. Xander's going to activate Fire Formation. Tanky. I think I'm going to negate this Tanky. Normally you want to hit the Fire King Island in this deck, but Tanky is just a powerful card because if you allow your opponent to get multiple Fire King monsters in your hand, you could be in some really big trouble because of so many great effects. So Xander's going to follow up with the Arvata and then keep a card in his hand as a bluff. Really good job, Xander, because now I have to worry about the Arvata, or is it a bluff? Now I have to worry about the Arvata. I'm going to go ahead and summon the Neptibus. He has no responses to the Neptibus. Neptibus effect is going to send a monster from the deck to the graveyard, or maybe he does have a response. Yes, he does. He's going to negate the Neptibus with his Arvata, because if he didn't, I would have just sent the Fire King, or I'm sorry, I would have sent infantry to get over the Arvata. So really smart move by Xander. And I'm thinking about, actually, if I want to respond to the Arvata, maybe, you know, Xander was pretty much put in a bad situation, but I'm going to go ahead and Totally Awesome the Arvata, negating its effect and not bringing it to my side of the field for some reason. Bringing it to my side of the field would have done nothing, actually. It just would have been a monster on my side of the field for him to destroy. I'm going to go ahead and add Dragoons from my deck to my hand, finishing off Princess effect. And then I'm going to be also gain the effect of Totally Awesome and destroy one of his face-down cards. He's going to chain Waboku to my Marksman Destruction. And Waboku's really good. Let's highlight that card. It prevents this monster from being destroyed by battle. And that's really good against Fire Kings because a lot of the times you can make monsters that just need to be destroyed by card effects. And if you force your opponent to face a situation where they destroy your monsters by card effects, then you're going to gain their effects. If they destroy them by battle, then, you know, most of them don't gain those effects. And that's what Waboku prevents your monsters from being destroyed by battle. So it's really good in that aspect. Trying to set up a board, I'm going to banish a Swap Frog for Totally Awesome again. And I'm really trying to make a play, even though everything I play seems to get negated. I'm going to use the Teus and the Abystius to make a Mistar Boy. So Mistar Boy and Neptibus are going to attack, and he's going to lose life points, but we're going to fix this later on. He's going to remember that, hey, I Waboku, so he doesn't take any damage from this battle whatsoever, but Mistar Boy Neptibus is what I'm forced to end up on because he has so many negates, and unfortunately, he doesn't really have much of a board to break. He's going to go ahead and search the Fire King Avatar Arvata on his following turn, and that's through the Barong. Actually, now that I think about it, when looking at this, it's a slight misplay. He could have actually added the Onslaught of the Fire Kings and summoned the Chicken, and I think Chicken would have done a really, really tremendous job. But again, hindsight's 2020. We don't know exactly what I have in my hand or what I'll draw. He's down to 4,000 life points as it's seen, 4,000 and some change. So I'm not sure, but I think definitely since he didn't have an additional monster in his hand, then the Onslaught would have been the better decision. I'm going to go ahead and activate Megalo's effect, discarding Dragoons and a Swap Frog. So no, it might not have mattered depending on what he has in his hand. That's going to trigger Dragoon's effect, and he's going to activate Torrential Tribute, wiping his board of all of his monsters, and then special summoning Barong back to his side of the field. Now, Dragoons are going to activate its effect to get Mermail or Neptibus, and this deck is really powerful. I just have to give it to Fire Kings. I never thought that Fire Kings would be powerful inside of 2018. We're quite a few years removed from the deck's inception, and Arvata does bring the deck to an entirely new level. But even more importantly, I think that the traps that Konami has let off to 3, Torrential Tribute being the 3, helps the deck as well. So trying to figure out what I'm going to add from my deck to my hand to get over what he can do, and I think I added a pretty solid board. Trying to figure out what I can do next to overcome his board. I'm going to add Teus to my hand through the effects of the Mistar Boy, and now I have a pretty good hand. That's what Mermail's good at. It's good at reloading. I'm going to go ahead and summon Mermailabit's Neptibus and possibly activate its effect. Do I want to get over the Barong? Do I want to get into the search? He's going to go ahead and I saw the Solemn Strike, but we already know he's going to go ahead and use it on the Neptibus. It's a very powerful card to stop. He's going to go ahead and Solemn Strike it. Unfortunately, I haven't even paid for cost. I haven't even declared. Actually, I think I did declare an effect, but we got a little bit mixed up. I'm going to try to play it as good as possible. I'm going to go ahead and send the Dragoons. I don't think I would have sent Marksman in this point in time because I felt that I needed to bait the card to use it. But more importantly, an unskilled Mermail player would have probably lost to that back row because it's really, really hard to stop stuff like that. So I think I sent Dragoons to the graveyard, and I'm trying to make a board where I can actually, you know, surmount some type of win or get the appropriate advantage that I need from my deck to my hand to secure a good board. So he does have Barong in his hand, or Barong on the field, no other monsters in his hand. So I'm not at a terrible position, but I do need to break his board quickly. I'm going to go ahead and add Deep Sea Diva from my deck to my hand, and ironically, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler. Deep Sea Diva isn't a great card. It's a very, very decent card. It's not a great card, just very decent. And you guys will soon know soon enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a game ender at times. I'm going to go ahead and activate Teus effect, discarding infantry and not using infantry's effect because, yeah, that wouldn't be that smart of me. And Teus effect is going to add Abyss Pike from my, no, it's going to add Abyss Gun from my deck to my hand. I thought I would add Pike, unless I already have Pike in hand. No, I don't. I'm going to go ahead and equip my Abyss Teus with the scale, so no more Onslaught for him, and then attack over his Barong. So that's pretty good. And Abyss Teus with 2,500 attack, and also he can't activate any Onslaughts or anything. He's in a pretty bad position. He's going to go ahead and set a monster face down and pass his turn. And now it's back up to me. If I can make a saucy board, maybe this will help a lot. And Deep Sea Diva could help with that saucy board, but keep in mind, both Dragoons are in the graveyard, so Deep Sea Diva isn't necessarily the best card to add from the deck to the hand, which is why Mermails are so, which would make Mermail so deadly. I'm going to go ahead and summon Pike. Pike to discard Gun to add Gen X Undyne from my deck to my hand. And then Gun's effect is going to trigger to special summon a Mermail monster from my graveyard to my side of the field, this time being a really good card inside of Mermail Abyss Osha, maybe? And let's go ahead and highlight Mermail Abyss Osha. It's such a really awesome card. Basically, you send a Mermail monster from your deck to your graveyard, you special summon 2 monsters with the levels that are matching, corresponding to the monster to your side of the field. So I special summon a level 4 and a level 3 monster, and then I send Teus to the graveyard. And that allows me to get into some really, really saucy plays. But again, I'm thinking about all of the courses of actions. I don't know what exactly that face down monster is, so definitely thinking about what I could be doing. I'm going to use Osha's effect. I'm going to follow through with the Osha effect. Summoning Abyssnary and Abyssmander by getting rid of the Abyssteus. Now, I wasn't able to gain the effects of he can't activate a water monster, but I was able to get over the Barong. I'm going to make Mastar Boy and then use both the Pike and the Fat Boy to make Bahamut Shark Totally Awesome. So this is a board you kind of want to make, mainly because both Mastar Boy and Totally Awesome will gain you advantage, getting monsters from your deck or your graveyard back to your hand. That's pretty pivotal for the deck. Xander's going to go ahead and draw. And are we going into game 3, fellas? Mermails is doing a really good job at controlling the board. We are going right into game 3. Xander's going to start off really strong. I apologize that I don't have the beginning of this clip, but he starts off with a Fire King Avatar Arvata. He does some pretty great things, and I'm going to go ahead and 1-for-1 Neptibus to my side of the field. I don't know why I don't have the beginning clip, but I hope you guys forgive me. I'm going to activate the effect of Neptibus, paying for cost. He's going to negate the Neptibus with his Fire King Avatar Arvata. I'm going to go ahead and send Marksman from my deck to my graveyard, triggering Marksman's effect to target a card that he controls, or a face down card, a set card that he controls, and destroy it. I'm thinking, do I want Marksman's effect? Is Marksman banished? I don't necessarily understand why Marksman is in defense position. No, I'm definitely using Marksman's effect. I just have to decide what card is going to be destroyed by Marksman, or am I going to leave it all to chance? Is Marksman the adequate choice? Can I continue to make a board? Unfortunately, I think my biggest misplay on here was discarding the Ronin Totem. I actually had a Kristan monster in my hand, which is really saucy for some really good combos. I should have discarded that for the 1-for-1. But I'm going to go ahead and activate Tia's, getting rid of the Kristan Rosenex. And let's go ahead and highlight Kristan Rosenex. When it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to special summon 1 water token to use that in the field. It fuels so many combos in this deck, guys. I'm going to go ahead and use it to special summon the token. Then I'm going to use both monsters to make them a Star Boy. Now, pardon me, I don't understand exactly why the Marksman is banished. Maybe I was in the process of thinking about it and kind of just left it there by accident. I don't think that that card really matters because I don't summon Moly Glacia in this game, or at least I don't think I don't summon Moly Glacia. He's going to go ahead and special summon Fire King Avatar Garunix on his turn, and then destroy my Star Boy, which is going to get me the Neptibus back from my deck to my, or from my graveyard to my hand. And now he's sitting with the high ground. I mean, if I were to quote Star Wars, it'd be like, "Give up, Anakin, I have the high ground." And then I'm all like, "You underestimate my powers." And then that's when he summons Wolfbark, summons a monster from his graveyard, and then makes Tiger King, and inflicts with a huge amount of damage. That's going to be a pretty gruesome amount. He's going to use both his monsters to make a Tiger King, which is gruesome. It allows him to search the Tenki, and then Tenki allows him to search another monster. So it's basically Wolfbark allowing him to gain more searches to tutor whatever he needs from his deck to his hand. He's going to add another Barong. And I'm going to take 5,000 damage straight to the face. He's actually going to destroy the Barong with the Fire King Island. So now if he were able to summon Arvata on the next turn, it's really live. So that's a pretty big problem for me. And seeing how I can break this board, it's going to be pretty nasty. He's going to swing for 5,000 damage, putting me at 3,000 life points, and then set a card face down. Next, he's going to activate Barong's effect to search another Garunix from his deck to his hand. I'm going to go ahead and summon Tejas by discarding Marksman to destroy his last face down card. Now, the last face down card is a Torrential Tribute, so pretty good that I was able to dodge a Torrential Tribute. He can't use it, or it would be beneficial for him to use it on top of his own board. Now, the Tejas is going to search me the Mermail Abyssmander, and we're looking at a really, really easy game. Seeing what I have in my hand, at least I'm going to activate Megalo's effect, and that's going to go ahead and pitch both the infantry and the Fat Boy. Infantry is going to destroy the Fire King Island. Megalo is going to search the Abyss Scale card. Megalo actually has a clear view for game, making itself 3,200. If I tribute the Tejas, it can attack twice. The Tejas is in attack twice, or is in attack position, so it can be tributed. This game is set for Mermails to take the victory. The Solemn Warning was all it needed for Mermails to provide an opening and OTK if you do see the combo yourself. So both monsters are summoned to the side of the field. It looks like I'm gonna do it. Am I gonna do it? I'm gonna try to go for swag, maybe make the Saryuja. maybe make some other things. Actually, at this time, I remember correctly, I didn't think we had enough like points. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys appreciated this video. Let's see again if we can get this to 150 likes. Again, please check out my Patreon, as well as thank you guys that have supported me on Patreon and bought, sold, or trade cards from me. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are enjoying or having a great day.